Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived a little mouse named Maximum. Max was very small and very curious. He loved exploring and learning new things. Max had always been fascinated by the world beyond his mouse hole. He spent his days reading books about far-off lands and dreaming of adventures. But he knew that he was just a small mouse and that the world outside could be dangerous. One day, Max decided that he couldn't resist the call of adventure any longer. He packed his little backpack with some cheese and crackers and set out into the forest. As he walked, he saw many interesting things: a family of squirrels gathering nuts, a rabbit hopping through the grass, and even a big, scary owl perched high in a tree. But Max wasn't afraid. He kept going, following a winding path deeper and deeper into the forest. Finally, he came to a clearing where he saw a beautiful flower garden. The garden was filled with all kinds of colors: red, yellow, blue, and purple. There were roses, daisies, and lilies, all swaying in the breeze. Max had never seen anything like it before. He scampered into the garden, marveling at the beauty of the flowers. Suddenly, he heard a faint sound. It was a soft humming noise. Max followed the sound until he found its source: a tiny hummingbird, flitting from flower to flower, sipping nectar. Max was amazed. He had never seen a hummingbird before. He watched as the tiny bird darted from flower to flower, its wings beating so fast they were just a blur. The hummingbird noticed Max and flew over to him. "Hello there, little mouse," the hummingbird said. "What brings you to my garden?" Max explained that he was on an adventure and that he had never seen anything as beautiful as the flower garden before. The hummingbird smiled and said, "I'm glad you like it. I come here every day to collect nectar for my family. Would you like to see my nest?" Max nodded eagerly, and the hummingbird led him to a nearby tree. There, Max saw the tiniest nest he had ever seen, perched high up in the branches. The nest was made of twigs and bits of moss, and inside, there were 2 tiny eggs. "They'll hatch soon," the hummingbird said proudly. "And then I'll have 2 little chicks to take care of." Max was in awe. He had never seen anything so tiny and delicate. He realized that even though he was small, he could still do big things. He decided that he would try to learn how to fly like the hummingbird. He watched the bird closely, studying its movements. Then, he began to practice. At first, Max could only hop a few inches off the ground. But he didn't give up. He kept trying, and soon he was able to jump higher and higher. Eventually, he was able to soar through the air, just like the hummingbird. Max was thrilled. He had learned something new and exciting. He realized that even though he was small, he was capable of great things. He packed up his backpack and headed back home, eager to share his adventure with his mouse friends. From that day on, Max was known as the little mouse who could fly. And whenever he saw a hummingbird, he smiled and thought of his amazing adventure in the flower garden. He knew that there were many more adventures waiting for him in the world, and he couldn't wait to explore them all.